What's up, everyone? I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. To get us started in today's video, we've got a tweet from Riz XRP. He shared a clip of Ripple's investor Glenn Hutchins, SEC Jay Clayton, and Gary Cohn, where they go in depth on the state of our security markets. They also talk more about payment systems. Listen in.
Give a perspective on it. Let's talk first about digital currencies, and let's talk about crypto stuff. Digital currencies today, roughly 92% of all currencies in the world is digitized.
You're talking about fiat versus crypto?
Just currency.
All right, so break them up though. So look, I totally believe in digital fiat.
Yeah.
So digital dollars, digital yen, digital euros. I don't. Those aren't crypto to me. That's digital fiat. So I just want everyone to understand that we're probably in more agreement.
No, it's not agreement. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm sort of dividing these two things apart, just like you just did. So the first thing you have to understand is that moving to a digital currency is a very straightforward thing to do. People call them, and the two things can interact, of course. Some people call them stable coins, some people call them, the Chinese are working on their own. Taking that thing on paper and turning it into a digitized thing is a very straightforward thing to do, and today, the vast majority of money in the world is already digital because it's just electronic entries in banks and central banks. Yep. So the notion that it's some big revolutionary thing, only going to take 8%. By the way, Ken Rogoff's book, The End of Cash, says the 80 to 90% of U.S. $100 bills are used in organized crime and tax evasion. So the thing that's most useful to the bad guys is cash. It's the ultimate sort of anonymized security. But anyway, so that's a straightforward, easy thing to do. It should be done, and we just got to get there.
Agree.
Right. That's the end. That's easy.
Amen.
Now, if you talk about the whole crypto kind of world, I got to this from the kind of the payments thing because I've been looking for a way in which we could take the cost of payments down by 99%, the way we've taken out the cost of trading and securities. In the payments world, we use we oftentimes use the term of the payments rails. There's the credit card rails, there's checking rails, there's the FedWire rails. So to understand how I think to think about the cryptocurrency world, is there are three parts of it: the blockchain, the token, and the protocol. And the three of them operate together to create one solution, one integrated solution that has the capacity to revolutionize the way we move things of value around the world. Let me use a railroad analogy to make the point.
As always, welcome back to Money Side, your favorite crypto news channel. If you're new here, welcome to the XRP Army. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our daily crypto news updates. For more interesting news today, we've got this old clip by Gary Gensler that was shared by the Crypto Barbie. Does Gary Gensler even remember what he said about XRP? The XRP Army knows the truth, and the truth is that XRP is a currency. It's about time they free the standard. XRP is the new standard, and many institutions will be joining the network to access other banks and trade with them. XRP is perfectly positioned to serve as the world reserve currency.
Or pay as a bridge currency. A currency called Ripple that you might hear in the banking sector. It could be a currency even like Ripple has an alternative. It's just
We've got more updates from Riz XRP. The Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan talking about what's exciting in the market right now is the growth of real-time payments. Some of the things he highlights here are know your customer, anti-money laundering, transparency, and money that ripple throughout the industry. The future promises significant growth for real-time payments both in the U.S. and around the world. While just 1.8 billion real-time transactions took place in the U.S. in 2022, real-time transaction volume is expected to hit 8.9 billion in 2026.
Digital movement of money. One half the money moved by consumers today at Bank of America today is moved digitally. One half. This is not something new. When you get to an anonymous currency, that's a different question. And that's a policy question of whether we want an anonymous currency out there of size and scale and scope. And that's what you start to see people struggle.
Do you think we do? Do you think we want it?
I don't think you want it. I think the reason why the $100 bill was the largest denomination of bills was to make money more difficult to move other than through a verifiable system. And I think that is a lesson a lot of economies have learned over time as they brought their denominations down to improve the transparency of the economy, the ability to track it, the ability to find the money, the ability to have it come through in that huge AML and KYC work we do and the industry does, and it helps you find all kinds of interesting things, and that's important for law enforcement and other types of things. So I think that's not the speculation. I'll let other people reflect on it. You're seeing great debates on it, but I think the idea of digitizing money is not new. The wire system is a digital transfer system, the ACH system. The question is, what's exciting is when you can walk around Bryant Park out here and go in these little shops that are set up for Christmas and be able to tap your phone or something like that, as opposed to carrying dollars. Those are exciting things. To get that last mile electronified, that's what, to have you and I exchange money if we had lunch together through Zelle, that's exciting. That takes the cash, because in the end of the day, of the $53 billion expenses, odd round numbers we'll have next year, 5 of it will be to move coin, currency, and checks around the system. And if I can take that down in a safe, verifiable, ability to do it, know your customer in AML, and take that down, that's a very valuable thing for us. And then to just ripple that through the industry. And we used to quote that we could ask them to destroy we could pay them to reprint the money rather than have to cycle back in and out, because it was cheaper to move it around. Now, some of our contracting parties that move it around for us might not be happy with that, but that's the way it is.
And now looking more into what has been going on with the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. We have an interesting tweet from Stuart Alderati. He says that the SEC has lost 4 of its last 5 cases in the Supreme Court, thanks to the few that had the courage and resources to fight back against the SEC's bullying and clinging to stretched legal positions that were not faithful to the law. In response to this tweet, John Deaton shared some of his thoughts on this, saying that he has no doubt that Ripple will win, and the current Supreme Court will shut down the SEC's gross overreach. The West Virginia versus EPA case, all you need to read to agree with me. Ripple's summary judgment brief is already an extremely well-written appellate brief. And as we wind up on today's video, we've got a tweet coming to us from Gary Gensler. He says that more than 90% of retail investors' marketable orders are routed to a small group of off-exchange wholesalers. He further states that he thinks retail investors deserve the full benefit of competition. The annual competitive shortfall could be worth $1.5 billion. This is money that could go into the investors' pockets.
What do auction houses have to do with the stock market? Auction houses bring buyers and sellers together for sales of items in a competitive way. It could be sales of baseball cards, antique rugs, and other items. If you're selling something, you can often benefit from the transparency and competition of an auction. We see some examples of auctions in our financial markets. Stock markets, for example, use auctions at the beginning and end of the day to determine the price. The goal is getting the best out of competition. Now, there are many ways to instill competition in our financial markets, including through enhancing transparency, broadening access, creating a fair playing field, and auctions are just one of those ways. Let's look at the current market to see why it would benefit from greater competition. Let's say you, an investor, put in an order to buy or sell 10 shares of stock. You might think that your trades benefit from robust competition similar to an auction, or perhaps that it would have the transparency of a lit stock exchange, right? Well, actually, it turns out that more than 90% of retail investors' marketable orders are actually routed to a small group of off-exchange wholesalers operating in what's called the dark market. That doesn't seem to promote the greatest competition or fairness. The idea of competition is particularly relevant when it comes to your marketable orders. And that's because there's a sweetness about those retail orders. And let me say why. You see, typically, everyday investors like you aren't making large trades of tens of thousands of shares or millions of dollars. So these smaller orders that you're making generally don't move the price of the stock market. And thus, there's a benefit for those brokers on the other side executing to fill your orders. I think the retail public deserves the full benefit of competition for the sweetness of your marketable orders. And I think it's time to breathe more competition into our equity markets. That's what we're trying to accomplish at the Securities and Exchange Commission. This last December, the Commission proposed to require that those marketable orders of individual investors of a certain size be exposed to competition in fair and open auctions. Now, the executing broker may get you a price that's midpoint or better. That would be great, but otherwise they would have to compete in good old-fashioned auctions. These auctions would include competition from possibly hundreds or thousands of other market participants to get retail investors' orders. According to analysis done by SEC economics staff, the shortfall of lacking some of that competition could be worth $1.5 billion annually. Money that could go back to your pockets and your portfolio and your future. Sounds like a win to me.
As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. We offer prayers for the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and in Syria. Please keep in mind, we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.